Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Thursday morning gathering brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. My name is Tara Healey, and I'm the founder and director of MindtheMoment, the mindfulness program of Point32 Health, the parent company of Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. So I'm delighted to be with everybody on this very, very warm Thursday morning, warm here. And for anybody that's new, a very warm and special welcome. The practices are about 12 to 14 minutes in length, and then we save time at the end for Q&A and sharing, so you can talk about your practice and any questions related to your practice, but also sharing resources, poems, quotes, books, podcasts, apps, anything you've come across related to practice that is supportive, that brings you joy, that is helpful. And so with that, let's go right ahead and get started. If you haven't opened the chat, please go ahead and do that. Make sure you go to the drop-down menu and select everyone. On Thursday morning, it is the webinar format, so we communicate through chat. But on Wednesdays, for anybody that's new here today and doesn't know about this, on Wednesday morning, it is meeting format, which means you can have your camera off or on. We can chat both using the chat, but also, you can unmute yourself and chat that way. That's on Wednesdays. But let's go ahead and get started. So settle into comfortable but engaged posture so that you're holding yourself in a way that's not too loose and not too tight. You also can do the practice standing. You can do the practice lying down if you're not too tired. That's a tricky one, though, because it's suggestive of sleep. So I would say just see how your energy is this morning, how you're feeling. But lying down is also a fine posture. But otherwise, seated or standing, eyes can be open or closed, whatever feels best for you. And if they're open, it's helpful just to gaze down a little bit. You just want to help remove any peripheral distraction. And let's go ahead and settle into whatever chosen posture feels right. Just see how things are. So letting go of what's already happened so far this morning, releasing anticipation of what's next, and just allowing the body and the mind to join together, to arrive together. The mind, as Dr. Amishi Jha says, is a really wonderful time traveler, very often in the past or the future, with a consequent disconnection from the very moment that we're in. So there are many reasons for practice, but in small part, it's about being where we are and seeing clearly what's happening, both in the mind and the body. So letting go of what's happened so far, releasing anticipation of what's next, and just allowing the body and the mind to join together and checking in with your body. So noticing points of contact with the back of the body, whether it's the soles of the feet or along the back of the body, and the surface that you're on. Like, what does that point of connection feel like? That subtle pressure of connecting with a surface. Allowing yourself to receive. So as we bring an attitude of receptivity and curiosity to the experience, and taking a moment to just check in with the whole body. So from head to toe, kind of allowing yourself to move through different regions of your body. So there might be sensations that are pleasant, there might be some that are unpleasant, and there are parts of the body that just are more neutral, neither pleasant nor unpleasant. And so bringing that lens of receptivity to whatever is happening. And if it feels good, take a deep breath, making your exhalation longer than your inhalation. Deep inhalation through the nose, longer exhalation through the mouth. And do that 1 or 2 times, whatever feels right, just as a way to help us settle in. And as you move through different parts of the body, just doing so with a sense of receptivity, kindness, and compassion for this body that works for us during the day in different ways, and have a sense of gratitude. And let's now look for an anchor, something that we can return to each time the mind wanders, something to help ground the attention of the wandering mind, not trying to stop the mind from thinking, but just seeing when a thought has slipped in without invitation, which is usually what happens all day long. When a thought slips in unnoticed and then becomes noticed as we're practicing in this kind of formal practice, just simply notice that it has arrived by making a soft mental note thinking. You can also be more specific, like planning mind, or worried mind, or joyful mind. And then just release, letting go of that narrative. So you've named it, you've released it, and then return, soften the body. There's often a subtle contraction when we're thinking that we don't actually notice. So thought slips in uninvited. There's a moment where you notice it, you can label it, release it, soften the body, and return to your anchor. So the anchor can be breath sensation anywhere in your body that it's easy for you to connect to. So palms of hands resting on thighs, the feeling of it, breath in and out through the nostrils, or the rise and fall of the chest or belly. And you could also use sound if there's a consistent sound. Noticing where your mind is, gently naming, releasing, softening, returning.
And again, noticing where the mind is and softening the body, releasing the memory or the planning, and then returning. It's kind of like a mental push-up, strengthening the ability to concentrate and focus, steadying the mind so that mindfulness can do its job most effectively. And again, noticing where the mind is. Release and soften and return.
And as we bring this meditation to a close this morning, I came across some John Lewis quotes that I would love to read. And so you can move attention from whatever your anchor has been to allowing the words to be your anchor. So I think I have three. So he says, before we went on any protest, whether it was sit-ins or the freedom rides or any march, we prepared ourselves and we were disciplined. We were committed to the way of peace, the way of nonviolence, the way of love, the way of life as a way of living. And another one, we are one people. We are only family. And when we accept these truths, then we will all be able to fulfill Dr. King's dream to build a beloved community, nation, and a world at peace with itself. And then the final, Rosa Parks inspired me to find a way to get in the way, to get in good trouble, necessary trouble. And this practice informs exactly what he's saying, so that we do this to have a peaceful heart, but courage and bravery and humility, as John Lewis exhibited throughout his entire life. So I just invite anybody that has anything they want to share to open up the chat, and please feel free to drop in a favorite quote you might have, of anybody that has been inspiring to you, or again, like a book or a podcast or an app or something that is supportive, or any questions at all that you have about practice, about working with thought, which I think is one of the hardest parts about practice, is because when we sit in the way we are, or stand or lying down, and we remove all of the day-to-day distractions. And I don't mean distractions in a pejorative way, because we're busy. I just mean that when we remove all of the busyness of our lives and we're with ourselves without distraction, then it leaves room for a lot to arise. And then the way that we work with that is we see it clearly, we name it. I often think of The Guest House by Rumi, that poem of, to not push anything out, actually invite it, see it, feel the physical expression in the body, release, but allow it to. Freedom is not a state, it is an act. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. So others, anything that is coming to mind for you? Questions, comments, quotes? And by the way, I'm like so happy to see 30 people. We're like in the height of summer, and just the sense of commitment from this community is inspiring to me, and I'm so grateful that so many of you keep showing up. It means a lot. This at times can be a lonely practice. It is not, as they say, it's simple but not easy. But when you're with a group of people that are all doing this at the same time, it's supportive. I think it's, in a way, just builds a strength of commitment. And we're all sort of aiming to be more clearly our mental habit patterns, which ones are helpful and useful, which ones have gotten in the way of our own peaceful hearts and others, and to do so with kindness and compassion. for ourselves and for the story of that we bring, our past stories, our lives. But to be here to strengthen the commitment to live in a way that's harmonious and humble and peaceful, and wise. Oh, interesting. Did John Lewis speak about avoiding hateful thoughts? Not that I've ever heard, but what I would say, just Charlene, from practice in general, is to, when these thoughts arise in us, right? These thoughts arise in us, to fully recognize that they're there and feel them in the body and to feel like the physical expression. Like, I think, we like to think of ourselves as good people, right? And when distasteful thoughts arise, we want to just resist and push away. But we're the whole mix of all of it. And it is actually, I think, more helpful to acknowledge and turn toward it, to see it clearly, allow yourself to feel it in the body. And that eventually will move away. But in a way, like you're not resisting, like, no, I shouldn't think that. It's more, this has arisen. What does this feel like in the body? On occasion, I pick up Walden by throw, and I'm again reminded of the refreshment of a nature that we are. Yes. And yes. And Janice, thank you. Yeah, I mean, my gosh, there's so much happening in this world right now. And the fact that we're all here this morning and we care about cultivating an open heart, about seeing our habit patterns. I mean, to really know your mental habit patterns more with greater clarity, what a gift that is, right? Because we can see the arising of these patterns, and especially, those that are not skillful. We all have them. And but to know that that's part of us, that is all part of us, and to really work with the arising of difficult emotions, difficult feelings, and not to deny them. I did that exactly with a recent unexpected. Yeah. Yes. Yes, Heather. And I think that, I've always loved the phrase kind of mind the gap, that practice increases the gap between impulse and action, right? So the more that we practice, the more we actually, and especially like tuning in with the body, the more we feel the impulse to say or do something rather than a reactive habit pattern of saying or doing that thing and then just later feeling regret. So we see the impulse because we're working with these patterns. We see the impulse arise kind of earlier in the chain reaction. We see it arise. We hold it with care. The Vietnamese monk Thich Nhat Hanh says, hold that anger like you would hold a baby. And so, Charlene, that might also go back to just your comment too. Hold that hatred, hold that anger like you would hold a baby. It has arisen. It is a part of you. It is a part of all of us. And can I be tender with it and fully acknowledge it, and then not take an action that is out of it, but take an action that's in greater alignment with our deepest values, with who we want to be on a day-to-day basis. And then, when we get it wrong, I find it with a family member that is, I think, my greatest spiritual challenge. I don't always get it right, but at the times that I do, I feel like a sense of success is the word that's coming to me. It's not quite right, but just like if I can get back in the driver's seat of my emotions, and see some of the difficulty through a broader lens. Nothing human is alien to me. Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. So I think, I just would suggest strongly that, as the researchers say, that what is most important is consistency over rather than time. So keeping that in mind, even if there are days where you can only set aside 3, 4, 5 minutes, that is of value, and that adds to the bucket of wisdom, of concentration, of humility. And then days where they're more spacious, you can increase the time. And even notice, like, even if you have the time, just notice there might be resistance to even doing it. Like, do I really, there are other things I could be doing, rather than feeling the pain of the world or the pain of my own emotions, or, whatever is going to come up that I just don't even know yet. And yet, if you use the practice to work with those things, which is drop the resistance, the turning toward receptivity, feel it in the body. And all of these things are of a nature to change. So every thought, every emotion, every body sensation we have, it's a law of the universe. But so the acknowledgement that it has arrived is so helpful. Thank you, Barbara. I'm so happy you're here. And just so, again, I just have a lot of gratitude to all of you for showing up, for hanging out, for our conversations, for sharing in the chat things that are important to you and valuable to you. I think I said this yesterday, but I would say it again. Ezra Klein interviews Mark Epstein on the latest podcast. I have not listened to it yet, but because I like both of them, I can feel pretty confident that it would be a really good interview. So Ezra Klein, Mark Epstein, latest Ezra. And we are at 9:01. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining. And whatever your day brings, I just wish you a peaceful and easy day. And I will see you on Wednesday. Okay, if not Tuesday, because John's interviewing Jess Morey. I think a lot of what they're talking about is parenting, but Jess is awesome. So, all right, bye, everybody.